Good morning, everyone. It's Joker, and today we are back with another slime video. And now that we've tested out Albus, it's time to actually give Momiji a decent chance at being a character. So she is a support character. She's Earth, so she is not the DPS of this meta. We're waiting on the two other units to come in to do the damage, but she has an okay kit. I wouldn't say it's awesome, but it is usable. So she's Earth, she's physical, she's on Festive Memories, Ogre's Pride, Wholehearted Devotion, and Commander, which is interesting. And then if we go to her actual skills, she's a single target support ult, 250%, which is terrible. And then she stacks Weakness Strike for Festive Memories characters, just like how Diablo and the Hero stacks it for Divine General, or how Isis and Kyokyo do it for antagonists. That doesn't seem like it's going to change at all, so just get used to that. Her actual skills, first one is 90 points, guaranteed pierce for everyone, including the backline, by 100%. So cool, it's half of what the Divine General Diablo does without the pierce power. And then the second is 100% ult resistance down, which increases by 10%. I know it says decreases, I don't understand why they worded it like this, but essentially, you start at 100, and every time the enemy ults one of your characters, it goes up by 10, to a max of 180. So you'd have to take 8 ults for this to be capped out, or you would need to have an enemy that does an AoE ult that hits 3 targets, and then that would count for 3 stacks, so it'd be 130, 160, and then cap at 180. Unfortunately, the beatdown battle that we have for this team is single target, so like the most you're going to see, I think, is like 130%. So it has a high ceiling, it's just unrealistic that you're going to hit it a lot of the time. Her second skill is a full orb change, oranges to blues. It's fine, but this is the same problem that I had with Primal Demon, their whole team, because we have Diablo that changes a whole hand of greens to blues, and then we had the free-to-play Misery that changed 3 oranges to blues. And the problem with that is if you get 2 oranges and 1 green, you still have to use 2 orb changes. Or you get 5 oranges and 1 green. You gotta use 3 orb changes because she's only changing 3 of them and he's changing the 1. And it's not very versatile for the orb change. You're locked in. So I really don't enjoy that. They kind of fixed it with Commander, where at least Hinata did 2 greens and an orange, and then Shizu did this skill as well with a whole hand of oranges to blues. So it was a little bit better, but I don't like these straight across converts. I would have much rather her have been like a double green or 2 orange and a green to 3 blues or something like that. I think that would have been better. Her true attribute, she's a defense team, so she is a stacking-ish team. Turns 6, 7, and 8 is where her extra damage comes in. Her Valor trait nerfs oranges, and then her actual trait, if you have dupes in her, gives you protection gauge every 3 turns. So, let's test her out. Alright, so first off, we're going to run this team. We've got Momiji, we've got Ritas, we got Albus, we have Summer Shizu for the Weakness Strike, and the single ult swap, Temp Sleep Benimaru for his orb change, the special convert, and his physical buff, and then we've brought the new Divine General Masked Hero for the Pierce Power and the Rewind, which might be able to help us out, depending. Well, debate's still out on her if she's going to be a good fit for this team or not. Alright, turn 1, orb change with Ritas, that's fine. Benimaru and Shizu get their attack skills sealed, which is not great that we have so many attack skills, but they're cheap, and they only last for like 6 turns, and this is an 8-turn team, so we can kind of freely swap them out as we are, and it leaves the Hero and Momiji unsealed, which I think is good. So we're going to bank on Momiji being our DPS character. This is only EX2, so it's not like it's overly difficult, even though we have a support ult, because we're doing good damage to her already. And, oh yeah, look at the 3 green orbs. What can we do about that? Oh yeah, we can't really do anything about that, can we? Well, that's unfortunate, because we used Ritas already, and we don't have enough points for another orb change. So I guess we're going to come back. Alright, much better. Instead of 3 greens, we get 3 oranges, which means that we can freely use the Momiji skill to change all oranges to blue orbs. So that is cool. That's good. So let's bring these two characters back in so we could have their seal kind of get reset a little bit. So we'll take the hero out, and then we'll put the barrier on for Albus. Unfortunately, because Ritas does not have a gauge increase on her skill, it's weakness resistance down, we are missing that last little tidbit. But we're going to make it back here, which is fine. And now we have a double skill for next turn, double barrier. Okay, that's unfortunate. Counterattacks are really not what you want to see on this fight because they just delete your barrier. That's not what you want on a defense team, is the deletion of your defensive mechanic. So 1, 2, and 3. All right, 3 hits against Benimaru. Thankfully, she doesn't do that much damage. And oh, yeah, look, 4 green orbs. What do we do about that? We only have a single green orb, or a double converter, and then we have Benimaru who can change, one of them. Huh. Well, that's unfortunate. I guess we just send him, and we kind of live with it. I guess we're going to use 1 stack of Albus, just because I would like the protection, but there's no point in doing it twice, because we're not going to make it back. So, yeah, look at the peanuts of gauge we got there. Alright. And, okay, oranges, there we go. So 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. Okay, spread the damage out there, that's pretty good. And now we can use the orb change again. So we're looking, that last turn wasn't great, but let's go ahead and do this. We are successfully letting the seal run out on these characters, which is good. So we only have, how many more turns of this? 3 more turns. As long as they don't die, we'll be okay. It's just that I kind of want to put a barrier up on Benimaru, but I don't want to swap out one of these characters because I want their seal to run out. So that is, I think, is one of the more annoying aspects of this team, is that it has a lot of points right now. Like, there's not much I have to do. But when you get to the nuke, like, with 90-point skills coming in, you can't do 2 of those. Alright, there's the instant damage barrier break. There's that barrier break. 1 and 2. Okay. Wow, she really just is leaving Momiji alone. Not that I mind, but still, come on. Hit somebody else, or we're going to take Benimaru out for Ritas, because we need her orb change. And we're going to put an extra barrier on Shizu. Alright. And then we'll put an extra barrier stack on. Thank you. And yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This will protect us from at least the ult on somebody. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So Momiji, not, she's a primary converter, which is great. All right, that hand, like, that's what I'm talking about. All right, she hit Ritas. That's fine. Broke the barrier, and then instant damage, and then 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5. And still has not hit Momiji once. I guess she knows it's her showcase or something. Okay. Well, fine. Whatever you care about. So let's alt swap again. And then we have these 2 greens and an orange. So traditionally, it'd be like, okay, well, I could have brought Guy, and we could have just been 1 orb change. Or it could have been like Momiji's skill, where she changed 2 greens and an orange, or some kind of variation of that. No, gotta use 2 different skills. So let's do this, and let's do that, and then we'll bring Benimaru back in, and we will put his orb change on. And then the skill seal for Shizu is leaving next turn, which is good. And then we'll do this. We'll put another double stack of barrier on, so hopefully Benimaru doesn't die here, but if he does, then that's unfortunate, and we gotta reset. I think the key for having to deal with the attack seal is just not bringing attack skills. that kind of a backwards way of thinking to do damage, but if your entire team is sealed, but you have to leave certain people up front, but you have constant damage coming in, kind of a problem. Alright, let's see what happens here. Alright, that's another great hand. Alright, oh, finally hit Momiji. Alright, broke the barrier for Shizu, and... okay, that's fine, honestly. Okay, 1 more alt swap, 1 more convert here, and that leaves 2 more green orbs again. So now that Shizu is unsealed, we can successfully take her away. And we have 80 points. Yeah, so Uh, eh. Benimaru is unsealed next turn. Yeah, we're just not going to have the points to do anything that we want here, because we don't have an EX ult until now. And our extra weakness strike is going to wear out next turn. So we're going to have to do a little bit of a underpowered nuke. Not as strong as I would like it to be, but we just didn't get the ult. Because blue orbs just inherently do not get us a lot of ult gauge, right? That's unfortunate, but thankfully Momiji has barriers to spare. So, it's turn 8. This is the nuke turn. So let's check out how many stacks of the ult damage we actually, ult resistance down we got. And it's sitting at 130% because we only got ulted 3 times, and it's a single target ult. So we are nowhere close to the total 180. So I'm not quite sure where they thought of that number. If this was an AoE fight, it'd be a different story. Or if training was an AoE ult, again, it would be a different story, because 3 ults hitting 3 characters would have been technically 9 stacks, but we cap at 8. So, unsure of what they were going for there. But, let's do the buff right here, and then I guess we'll do the weakness strike buff, because we have more points for it. Well, this is 50%? Because we're already getting ult resistance down. Weakness strike is weak, though. So, yeah, let's just do these 2, then. So, physical attack, guaranteed pierce, ult resistance down by 130%. And then how much pierce power do we have? We have 20% pierce power. That's coming from Ritas and her barrier skill, which we use every time, but maybe she's not up front or something. I don't know. But let's do 2 more stacks of Albus. That will give us another 30% ult damage, and then we'll see what we end at for that. And then, because Trainee has such low HP, there's no way we're not killing. But 270% ult damage, plus 50% physical attack, plus 20% pierce power, plus the 20% weakness strike from the barrier stone. Okay, that's cool. 50% physical attack. And let's watch her animation. Make sure it's on. I don't want to send an ult because I'm fairly certain. I don't want to send an orb because I think it would kill. So let's just do the ult, which I think looks fun. It's a fun looking ult. I wouldn't say it's the best looking ult. It still is very good. Let's not. It's not a bad ult animation, but it's a Christmas tree. Like, how are you doing damage? Did you freeze them and that's just it? And they're encased? 675k. So that would have one shot at full HP on EX2, for just reference. But she is support ult. She's also not type advantage. She's Earth. So we are waiting for a good fire DPS character to come in and really bank on that damage. But she's a bit expensive for the team. 150 skill points with no way to overcap it. She costs 90 to do that. Which means that the DPS characters, they're going to have like low-cost buffs or something, or debuffs, because they're getting sealed. And then she's changing one color only, which leaves very little room for error as far as orbs. So, let's put her on a different team. Alright, she's on the Commander Force, so we're going to put her on the Commander team. And she is physical, so she synergizes well with the attack and defense buffs from Renard. And she's giving a buff that this team didn't really have, which is ult resistance down. This isn't a Pierce team traditionally, but she's going to give everybody Pierce, which is cool. So that'll go Pierce. The orb change that she has matches what Shizu does, so I guess we could alternate instead of making one really expensive. Maybe. And then, yeah, ult resistance down. We're going to fight Tempered Edge Veldora, who ults us a couple times, so we're going to get like 2 stacks out of it maybe. But with the extra EX ult, the physical buff, the synergy, the attack buff, the synergy rate, the ult buff, and synergy resistance down, like this team will do lots and lots of damage. Alright, so this time, Momiji is not the focus. She is just an orb-changing support character, which is what she's meant to be anyways. So, her value right now, I wouldn't say is super, duper high. She's going to enable a number of characters to do damage since her buff is unrestricted. It's guaranteed pierce and alt resistance down. Like, anyone can take advantage of that, which is good. And then her orb change is objectively, it's good for a blue focused team, which we're running a blue team. It's just that I think for her team, it's a bit unnecessary. And like this hand right here, we have Shizu, and we have 2 greens, which means we can't really do anything. So we're going to reset and come back, and I'll actually probably skip ahead, because we're not really going to use Momiji until the final turn anyways. I just want to see how much extra damage she's going to enable this team to do, and I don't think we need to sit here for 8 turns to do that. I guess we can put this in the middle. This is the first time we're using Momiji's orb change. We've had to use Shizu once, and we have just 1 leftover orange orb, so, you know, we might as well keep it cheap, right? Instead of trying to make one skill overly expensive, we can spread the love, I guess. And now we're pretty close to getting a Diablo ult, and we're only on turn 4. So we can probably ult rush him and then start maybe stacking, use his skill and send him away. And that way that'll leave us points to use everything else on the nuke turn. So I think, yeah, this will be the final turn. All right, 3 more oranges, so we'll do the orb change, boom, boom, and then I guess we'll bring in Glenda, yeah, and we'll alt swap away. And then next turn we'll just use Diablo's buff. So, all right, we've successfully used Momiji's orb change on this team once. I'll bring you guys back for the nuke. All right, back for the nuke. We'll use Hinata's alt damage buff and synergy down. This will hit the backline as well, so we're not worried about it, and then we'll take her out, since even though she's type advantage, she's not the nuking character. I want to bring in Diablo for that. We've already used the Diablo buff, we've already used the synergy rate from Glenda, so we're losing like the 20% physical down. Yeah, not really a big deal. So let's take you out of here, boom, and then we'll take Glenda out for Momiji, and then we'll use the other 2 big-time buffs, so 1, 2. I guess we could have used something else. I guess we could have used Glenda again, but, oh well. So let's do this, and then we'll do the 2 final stacks of Renard, who the weakness strike stacks for Diablo don't matter, but we are also stacking extra ult resistance down on top of what Momiji has done. So let's check out what we're looking like for that. So 110%. So we got ulted once, because this is a forever. No, that's Renard. Sorry, 110% down, and then another 130% down. So we got ulted 3 times from Veldora. So that is 240% ult resistance down, 30% weakness resistance, which Diablo doesn't care about, and then the 40% synergy down, which Diablo does care about. So he's probably going to hit fairly hard here. And by fairly hard, I mean he's going to murder this Veldora. So go, Diablo. Encase him in your little silver ball of nothingness. And let's see what an extra 130% ult down does for us. Ugh, despair time. A little aluminum foil rolled up. 3.4 million damage, type neutral, physical. I'd say that's pretty good. Pretty good. Would we have still killed with without Momiji? Probably. But did she enable us to do, like, double his HP? Oh, yeah. And she did convert. She is a buff that this team, you know, well, we didn't have Pierce at the time, but ult resistance down, a temporary buff, does stack on top of the permanent that Renard is doing. So she is still bringing benefit to the team. Alright, she's also on Ogre's Pride, so I kind of want to test this out. Magic or attack for magic ally, synergy power. The Pierce we're going to get anyways from the other Momiji, but then the ult resistance down. We're going to bring Divine General Blanc for the 120 ult damage, or 150, sorry. And then Momiji and Shuna, DPS characters, supporting buffs. This could be funny. I don't know if it'll work very well, but it'll be funny. We've got Soe for the converting. He converts any 2 orbs, so he can convert greens. He can do a special convert. Momiji's going to clear the entire hand of oranges. What we're doing is we're replacing Violet, who is another special convert, though. So we'll see if this actually works out the way I want it to. Well, once again, found a turn that we can use her. It works out pretty well. So full hand of oranges is now full hand of blues. Excellent, and then we can bring Shuna back in for old Momiji and give her some alt gauge. So, cool. We used her again successfully. Okay, well, because RNG, we had to go to turn 10 to do this, but we need 500 points to total nuke, and we have 549 now. So let's use the Blanc buff, because that'll affect everybody. 150% alt damage. That will stack on top of what Benimaru is doing. And then we will do also the alt resistance down from the new Momiji. Remember, I thought that it was 3 single targets we hit. It's just an AoE alt that hit everybody, so that's why we're at 130. Pierce, including the rear guard, means that everyone will get Pierce, even though we're going to get it anyways from the old Momiji version. But we'll put the alt resistance down, and then we can swap out Blanc for Shuna. Cool, and then we can take out the new Momiji for Soe. Boom. And then we'll do all the other buffs here. So the magic buff, the 2 buffs from Momiji. So now we've used 300 points in a turn, which means that Soe is going to be at maximum power, 100% synergy. And then we'll give ourselves another stack of alt damage and the 100% pierce as well. So now we've got a lot of power from the Shuna. 100% alt damage, 150% alt damage. So 10 stacks of Benimaru, the 1 skill from Blanc, and then as far as what we've actually done here, the weakness strike doesn't matter. Guaranteed pierce, 100% weakness strike, which doesn't matter as well. 120% magic attack from her own personal buff. Guaranteed synergy, 70% attack, synergy power, pierce power, and then Veldora has alt resistance down 130%, and then synergy down by 60%. So this is going to do quite a bit of damage. So let's go ahead and let's see what 1 orb does for Shuna, and then we'll send the actual alt. 133k, and she does 7.3 million damage. Yeah, we had quite a few more buffs going on than that commander team did, but definitely helped us out, because this team didn't have alt resistance down at all before Momiji came in. And even though she's a physical character, not helping the EX boards for a full magic team, 130 alt down is very, very strong. So Momiji, I mean, she's cool and everything, and she can be a good support for a number of different teams. She's like the stacking version of Isis, right? Because Isis, for the first 5 turns, she gives the 120% alt down, but as soon as you hit turn 6, that's gone. So now we have a long form support unit that can do alt resistance down, and it actually can be higher than 120, and it's not useless after a certain amount of turns. It's always there. So I think she'll have value on other teams in the future, but she's not exactly what I would call like a necessary character right now. You don't need her to do damage for other teams because other teams already do damage. Alt resistance down you can get from other characters in some way, shape, or form. It's not going to be the whole 180 or 130 or whatever, but certainly there are units that do that. So very much a luxury character. Orb changing can be good, but again, I'm not a big fan of the full converts. Some people might. Let me know in the comments what you think of this new Momiji. I think she's solid, but nothing overly spectacular. But again, yeah, let me know your thoughts. But that's it from me. Take it easy, and I'll see you all later.